They're like, this is my group, and someone who could be on a thing like this to maybe say these things instead of just going, well, why would you care? Some people care. There's people that care about these subjects.
Like, you know what? Two dark-skinned brothers. Y'all gonna be named Eclipse. Y'all black. And I was like, you know, he sells the whole, like, Pharrell's greatest gift is a salesman. So he sold this whole thing. And this is back when rap had like 3 full verses. And so before then, my brother was a soloist and he's like writing 3 full verses. It's taking, you know, forever to finish the song. He was like, and y'all can cut it in half now. This is what we about to do. And the Clips was born.
Eclipse. That's too funny. Here's the microphone. How's it going, everybody? How's it going? My name is Noel, here at Verbal on Life. I'm trying to talk a little more into the microphone and create a YouTube channel. Stream to you guys what I'm doing. I'm currently battling MS. It's not easy. I got this YouTube set up in the basement, so I have to come downstairs, which means I can still walk. So because I can still walk, I'm making the journey all the way down here. And the fact that I'm recording and live streaming, it just goes to show that I'm really, really trying. And there's a lot of things going on. So what I'm doing, I am putting my opinion out on different things that are happening today. All right. Now, I'm going to be sharing videos and just giving you guys my opinion. A lot of people were a fan of his. And just after the woke virus invaded people's brain and they started talking crazy, maybe it's bad for me. After that virus entered his brain, he just lost it. He forgot about science. He forgot about the fact that we have some males and females. Biologically, they are different. I think little by little, people are waking up to that fact and just chilling out with this conversation about allowing men to compete in women's sports. And I gotta agree with this guy.
Forget what your spirit is or your essence or how you feel. If we're just looking at the meat and bones and cells and chromosomes of something, we can make biological arguments that there's a male and a female. And then his argument goes, why do you care? What do you mean, why do I care? You're the man of science. You should tell me that should be your argument, is that if we're just looking at biology and not the spirit of someone or whatever, the feelings. And instead his argument is, why do you care?
And we do have to care. We have to get back to the center, get back to normalcy. All right? Especially if you got kids. Let's get back to it. Definitely looks crazy when you see a man or a trans person fighting a woman. It looks scary. Like, it really looks like abuse. And it's good to put your opinion out there, like he said. Put your opinion out there. I think for a lot of things in life, people just stay within themselves, like, whatever, I don't care, you know? And people don't have a platform. It's difficult to find a platform just to talk your ideas, just to spill it out there. Plus, a lot of people have jobs that they don't want to get like X at work, or they don't want people talking about them. Me, I'm retired. So at this point, I can say whatever I want to and not have to worry about getting canceled or about getting fired. Just like the COVID vaccine. When those came around, I had a job where I had to get vaccinated. So I had to take one COVID vaccine. You know, it was one of those things, either you get it or you're fired. So speaking your mind is one of those things that if you fall on the wrong side of things, you're going to get a lot of enemies and you might even get fired. Luckily, with this platform, I don't have to worry about that. The only people I worry about is YouTube canceling me. Hopefully, they'll allow my channel to continue. And I'm up to 1,584 subscribers. So I am monetized. So far, I haven't really made any money of it because you have to make a lot of views. And I don't have a lot of views. I'm trying to figure out, how do you go about getting views? What do I need to say to build an audience? There you go. That's a good question. So building an audience so like that I could get more views and make this a hobby, and a hobby that pays off, you know? Not that easy. So if you stuck around, so far I've been around for 10 minutes on this video, go ahead and subscribe. And hopefully I keep bringing more information and more news that you actually like and are entertained by it. And again, my name is Noel, battling MS. I can still walk and talk and move my fingers. And if you know anybody with a disability, those little things count a lot. You know, walking, talking, and just being yourself. We all take for granted until you start to losing. You know, I used to be able to jog. I can't jog anymore. I used to be able to run. Cannot run anymore. I used to be able to walk with a cane. I cannot walk with a cane anymore. My walking now consists of using a trolley and holding on for dear life, because falling is not, it hurts. Falling is not that easy. So yeah, that's one of my challenges, you know. I got myself 2 dogs, so married with a child. I just got to talk my mind and talk as much as possible, because eventually speaking goes away, and that'll be ugly. That'll be scary, because then it's like, how are you supposed to communicate? Like, I end up talking slowly. Like right now I talk slow, but as this disease progresses, my speech should go slower and slower. And it takes a little bit of getting used to. And that's just life, getting used to your circumstances. Trying not to complain too much or at all. Try to smile as much as possible. Just happy to be able to put your opinion out there and talk. So let me go. What am I looking at? All right, just listening to more news. How about this? Let me just click on regular videos and then talk about what I'm looking at, in my opinion.
As the funny.
What happened here?
Hello. Facebook and Instagram are down right now.
Facebook and Instagram are down right now? Oh, no.
Can we talk to your supervisor, please?
Oh, sure. Hey, David. Hi, is there a problem here?
Facebook and Instagram are down right now.
Oh, that's too bad. Can you see this post on X? It means our servers are working. Maybe they'll be back up in a few days.
No, that's way too long.
Oh, it is? Oh, geez, that's terrible.
In a few days.
I want to bring in, Julian Castro on this, because Trump is, and I want to bring in, Julian Castro on this, because Trump is doubling down on his anti-immigrant rhetoric as he moves closer to becoming the Republican nominee. The things that he's been saying recently, well, take a listen to some of the things he said just in an interview last night.
They're coming from places unknown, and they're rough people, in many cases from jails, prisons, from mental institutions, insane asylums. Insane asylum, that's Silence of the Lambs stuff. These Hannibal Lecter. Anybody know Hannibal Lecter? We don't even have teachers of some of these languages. Who would think that? We have languages that are like from the planet Mars. Nobody knows how to, speak it.
Languages from Mars and immigrants from mental institutions. What is this, do you think, who is this rhetoric geared toward?
Well, I mean, this is hateful, it's hurtful, it's even Hitler-esque rhetoric at times, and is geared toward
So this is a Democratic channel, MSNBC, just trying to paint Trump as an evil maniac.
Crowd that loves this stuff. And why wouldn't Trump try it again? I mean, this sounds like what he said in 2015 when he came down that escalator, and look what happened in 2016. So he was rewarded politically for this kind of rhetoric. He went on and he did cruel things like family separation, and he thinks that that's a blueprint that he can win again. I think that the 2020 election showed that when Democrats present a positive alternative, when they object and call out that kind of cruelty, that they win. And so if there's anything I think that's a benefit of Trump winning this primary early, it's that this is going to clarify the race. And
it's nice to have somebody running for presidency that speaks to the people. You know, he's saying out loud what people are thinking, you know, and you never hear politicians do that, right? They try to mystify, they try to clarify their rhetoric or try to speak politely and just seem to be in another world. Maybe speaking to the 1%ers of Americans, the high learners, the very smart people.
And the negative partisanship that Rachel, I know, has written brilliantly about, of Democrats rallying around the reality that Trump could well become president again if he's elected, that he is the one on the ballot, that he's promising a national abortion ban, that he's talking about rounding up immigrants, jailing them, the same old cruelty. I think that is the best hope that Democrats have of actually rallying around Joe Biden and winning in November. So it's hateful, cruel rhetoric, but Democrats have to respond to it.
Right. I mean, John,
yeah.
Does anybody else have to respond to that too?
First of all, look, I think Julian's trying to make a good point. Look, I don't have, Republican or Democrat talking points. The Biden administration and Democrats were a day late, a dollar short when it comes to the border. This issue has risen, at least temporarily, to the top of the list. I think at the end, people are going to vote on the basis of how they feel about economics.
So they're going to go with Trump because Biden is destroying this country.
At the same time, I have to say to my evangelical friends, this is not the kind of rhetoric that is expected for us to hear or support. Remember what St. Paul said about compassion and love and kindness and self-control. You got to look and see whether this kind of divisive language serves anybody. It's true we have a problem at the border. It needs to be fixed. The Republicans have just blocked the most important border bill in a long time.
Not true. That border bill is not a good bill. It's a ridiculous bill. And they don't talk about the specific that's in it, or they say that's being blocked. So they're being slick with that.
But let's not lose sight of the fact that the Democrats were behind on this. Can they make it up? I think maybe they can, but it's really, really tough. And they shouldn't have ignored this. And I think it was part of it because they were afraid of their base. Biden's got a real problem. I mean, he's got a real problem. Everybody knows it. We saw the Siena poll. They're going to have to get their act together. And happy talk is not going to fix their problem.
But there are two different issues, really. And Rachel, I want your thoughts on this because there is the issue of the
He was stuttering.
Humanitarian crisis at the border that has now really become a humanitarian crisis throughout the country. But then there is this specific talk of the people that are, coming from mental institutions and Hannibal Lecter and poisoning the blood of the United States, these languages from Mars. I mean, they're two different things here, Rachel.
I mean, they are, but they're not, right? They're connected. And here's the thing. Julian was just right. It is Hitler-esque speak. It is designed to create a culture of victimization and fear. And here's the thing that I would say. Yes, the rhetoric is awful. Poisoning the blood of Americans, they're Hannibal Lecter, that stuff, it's tempting us to focus on the rhetoric. I think it's much more important to make sure, especially communities of color, hear about the platform. And the Republicans are not sharing that platform, but that is a very, very aggressive anti-immigrant platform where they're talking about mass deportations on day one. And back in 2010, Arizona went through this, Arizona, Alabama, some of the southern states with a show me your papers law. What's coming to the Latino community of America is going to be catastrophic. So I think it's just so much more important to not make it about rhetoric and character and to make it about the tangible threat that those communities are facing. And Julian's just right. It's going to be a long election, and we're going to start to see voters accept that Biden's the nominee because a lot of the tuned out people still don't get that, and it will come to them. And we're going to see what happens. But I would push very hard back on Governor Kasich, who I admire greatly, because the number one issue in this election is going to be the fact that I am a half citizen now. All the women of America are facing an eminent probability of living.
All right, I'm going to stop it right there because I don't know if MSNBC is going to strike my channel for doing this, but today is Super Tuesday. Remember to go vote, everybody. I'm going to leave it right there. Comment below. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to Verbal On Live. My name is Noel. And just trying to be verbal, give you guys the news and what's happening. All right, let's finish what's her point.
under a national abortion ban that will give women in blue states nowhere to hide. So I think it's really about, immigration is a bad issue. Democrats should have acted on it. The asylum process is being abused by these criminal gangs, and it's caused a humanitarian crisis. But what is coming in terms of humanitarian crisis under a Trump dictatorship, because a man who didn't leave office once isn't going to leave the second time, folks, is going to be pretty bad for communities of colors, particularly Latinos and Muslim communities.
Rachel Bidecoffer, former Governor John Kasich, Secretary Julian Castro, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
All right, so if you agree with her, write it down in the comment section. My goal is to get people more involved with the channel and comment below and be verbal about what they're thinking about, compare their thoughts to mine. And again, they're trying their best to get people not to vote for Trump, trying to scare them. And I don't know if my channel will get thrown out because of this. So, but you know what that's called? That's called fear. Gotta lose fear. Just gotta talk and be verbal. So with that, I'm going to say, hey, Trump 2024, Vivek for vice president, we should be good. I'm going to check out these videos, see how they came out. And then I'll come back and do another live in a minute. Let's see how this looks. With the microphone right next to me. And if I push it away, how about now? Is the audio any better? Talking.